The storm rolled across the dunes of Arkan, 5 in harsh, spiraling sheets of ruby sand. To most travelers of the Outer Rim, Arkan 5 was a dead world. Its atmosphere thin, its terrain hostile, its ruins the crumbling bones of civilizations long lost. But to Elias Marr, a lone explorer and former medic of the Terran Frontier Corps, it was a sanctuary of sorts. He had come here to escape the war that had burned through half the Orion Spur and consumed everything he had once cared about. He preferred the silence of Arkan 5. No politics, no conflict, no commanders barking orders. Just the wind, the rusted remains of extinct cities, and enough solitude to drown out the memories that kept him awake at night. So when a streak of white fire cut across the sky and slammed into the desert only a kilometer from his ramshackle outpost, he nearly convinced himself he'd imagined it. But the tremor under his feet said otherwise. Elias grabbed his respirator, slung his pack over his shoulder, and set out across the dunes. The crash site was a shallow crater glowing with residual heat. Strange metallic fragments lay scattered like shards of a broken star. At its center, half buried in the ruby sand, was a woman. She was unconscious, her skin pale blue beneath a web of lacerations. Her armor, if one could call the elegant obsidian plating armor, was cracked and sparking with dying energy. Tattoos of glimmering silver spiraled from her temples down her neck, softly pulsing. Elias knelt beside her and checked for a pulse. "Still alive," he whispered. "That's a miracle." He lifted her carefully. She was surprisingly light. As he carried her back toward his shelter, he noticed something else. Her wounds were deep, some inflicted by weapons he didn't recognize. Whoever she was, someone had wanted her dead badly enough to chase her across the galaxy. Inside his outpost, he stabilized her wounds with the limited medical supplies he had. Her physiology was nothing like a human's, but the fundamentals of healing remained the same. Stop the bleeding. Repair what can be repaired. Support what can't. For 3 days, she drifted in and out of consciousness, speaking in a language Elias couldn't understand. Harsh consonants mingled with melodic undertones. On the 4th day, she finally woke. Her eyes snapped open, revealing irises like molten silver. She sat up instantly, her posture regal despite her injuries. "Where am I?" she demanded, her voice surprisingly soft but layered with authority. "Safe," Elias said, raising his hands. "I found you after your crash. You were in bad shape." She studied him carefully. Not with fear. Elias sensed she had never known fear, but with calculation. "You aided me," she said, "without knowing who or what I am." Elias shrugged. "Didn't matter. You needed help." The woman tilted her head. "You are human. Last I checked." Something flickered in her expression. Something like disbelief, then something like fascination. "My name is Elias," he said. "You got one." She hesitated. "Lirana." It wasn't a lie, but she hadn't told the whole truth. Elias had no reason to suspect he was speaking to Lirana Voss, Queen of the Dominion of Axiom, the single most feared ruler in the galaxy. Entire star systems trembled under her command. Armies and fleets obeyed her without question. Her enemies spoke her name only in whispers. But here in his outpost, she was simply Lirana, brilliant, enigmatic, and deeply wounded. Over the next several days, Lirana regained her strength. She was guarded but curious, always observing Elias while pretending not to. He noticed she rarely slept, and when she did, it was with a tension that suggested she expected an attack at any moment. One evening, as the sun dipped below the dunes and cast the desert in bronze shadows, Elias found her standing outside, staring at the horizon. You've healed well, he said. She didn't turn to him. You saved my life. Why? Elias folded his arms. Why wouldn't I? No one helps a stranger without expecting something in return, she said. Not in my experience. Then you've met the wrong people. She considered this. Perhaps. The wind carried the scent of metal. Storm approaching again. You're running from someone, Elias said gently. Or something. Lirana's silver eyes narrowed. You see more than you pretend to. I was a medic in the Frontier Corps. I've patched up soldiers who had the same look you have. And what look is that? The look of someone who's been betrayed. For a moment, her expression cracked. Pain, fury, and sorrow flickered across her face like lightning. Then her composure settled again. My throne, she said quietly, has been seized by a faction within my own dominion. Coup. They struck swiftly, efficiently. They believed they killed me. Did they? A faint smile touched her lips. Clearly not. So you're royalty. She met his gaze. More than that. Before Elias could ask more, a low hum echoed across the desert. A deep, resonant vibration. Unnatural, metallic. Lirana's head snapped up. They found me. Lights pierced the sky. 3 sleek black ships descending like predatory birds. Elias's blood ran cold. Inside, Lirana ordered. Her voice shifting into a tone so commanding it raised the hairs on his arms. They ducked into the outpost as beams of energy struck the ground, shaking the sand. Lirana retrieved a compact device from the remains of her armor. When she activated it, the room filled with pulsating blue light, forming a shimmering barrier around them. Your enemies? Elias asked. They are traitors, she hissed. And they will not take me alive. The outpost shook under another blast. Your shield won't hold forever, Elias warned. It only needs to hold long enough. She glanced at him. You have shown me mercy, compassion. No other being has done so in a very long time. Her hand reached toward him, hesitant, unsure. I will not let them harm you. Elias blinked. I wasn't exactly planning to let them harm you either. Her eyes widened, stunned that a simple human would stand beside her with no promise of reward. She pressed a small disc into his hand. This is a locator. When activated, it will signal my loyalists, those still faithful to me. They will come. He activated it. Moments later, the desert rippled with the roar of engines. Not the hunters, but a new fleet. 5 massive cruisers emerged from the clouds, each bearing the sigil of the Axiom Dominion. The hunters faltered, realizing their mistake too late. A brilliant wave of energy swept across the dunes, disabling the enemy ships in seconds. Silence returned. Lirana stepped outside, her posture straight, her expression transformed. The soldiers who emerged from the cruisers knelt at once. Your Majesty, they said in unison. Elias froze. Majesty. Lirana turned to him, her regal presence unmistakable. I told you I was more than royalty, she said softly. You're their queen. The queen, she corrected. A soldier approached. Your Majesty, your throne awaits. The usurpers will fall. Lirana nodded but kept her gaze on Elias. You could come with me, she said. I owe you my life. And my empire owes you its queen. Elias looked toward the endless desert he had called home. He felt no attachment to it anymore. Yeah, he said with a small smile. Let's go fix your galaxy. A rare warmth touched her eyes. Then walk beside me, Elias Mar, Lirana said. For you healed more than my wounds. You reminded me what a ruler should be. She offered her hand. He took it,